Hello everyone, this is Diana Croft. Hey, welcome back in my studio. Thanks for joining me again. I thought I want to share with you today the process of to work from this reference photo and make my own little art piece from it. So usually if you are like me, well, for years I painted you from YouTube videos and just painted from one instruction to another instruction, another artist, and I never really figured out how I can translate references into my own art piece. And yeah, that is actually what I made my main goal for you, that I help to get you started in your own art and develop your own handwriting and painting style. Okay, don't talk too much, Diana. Just get started with painting. So this is a cheap watercolor painting paper from Crenzen. That is a paper I think I picked up from Walmart. I paint a lot. I have a lot of different papers, and I love to explore actually and see what different papers do, different brushes do, different paints do. And I do not like to copy anything. I wanted to make it my own. I think copying, realistically, a camera can do a way better job than any artist, right? So that is I'd rather love to see how the colors mingle with each other. I love to see what kind of brush marks I can do. And that's my main joy. And you should follow your joys too in watercolor. You should paint the way you enjoy painting. If it is copying a reference photo, so be it, but I can tell you what, painting in your own style is way more fun. So this brush is fairly new to me too. It's a Chinese brush, and it takes very little pressure to make really interesting strokes and releases a lot of water. And this paper does not dry quick, so the water and the paint sits on it. It's hard to do a wet on wet scene, wet on wet scene with having very soft edges. So I'm going with the flow. See what the paper does for me here. And I'm using different blues and pinks. As I said, I love to see how the color reacts with each other, and leaving some white in between just because I maybe want to fill it later with some greens, or I want to fill it with other colors. As I said, this is a sketch, a quick sketch that helps me to figure out the composition of how I gonna go on with this subject here, this reference photo that I showed you at the beginning. So here are some edges forming that I don't like necessarily, but other than that, I think we're pretty okay with the light. Love the granulation here. See, this is beautiful. Yeah, I think for this layer, this is it. So excuse me, I'm gonna quickly dry this, and then we'll keep on painting in a hurry here. paint one reference photo at least 4, 5, 6 times or even more. And I paint every time a little bit. I'm using a different technique. I'm using different color combination. And every version of my painting teaches me something. So I'm going to show you later on some other versions I did of this reference photo here. And I'm just adding a tree. Here in the background. So the color I'm using for this as this gray is neutral tint, and this neutral tint is very transparent. Doesn't take much. I love the transparency of it. So it dries fairly light. And adding a bit more color to this front tree here. Yeah, see, this Chinese brush makes beautiful branches. Yeah, I love how this works out. It's very soft, so it hardly needs any pressure to at all to release the water. And adding a bit of a dark foreground here. And put some dark, a little bit of blue in there, because I want to have a focus area in the middle on my purple flowers there. And that's why I'm just suggesting some darks in the front. That's different from what I did last time there, which is okay. As I said, I'm trying to interpret my scenery a bit different every time I'm painting it, and I have fun with this. Okay, I'm gonna put some light in here too, probably. Just more of my pinkish color, and see how that goes with my blue and my purple. I think it's getting too dark, so I want to put a bit of yellow in there. Okay, it's getting too dark. My yellow is dirty here. Let's go with some pink. This is Queen Magenta. Checking out. And this is going good. Well, I'm not impressed with this. We're getting too dark for my liking. So that's why I'm adding a bit of orange in there, and see if this goes good. Don't want to make it too dark, right? I want to intensify my fun colors here, but don't want to have it too dull. Okay, going back to my Opera Pink. I like this the most. And I'm adding some yellow in my Opera Pink and make it lighter and make it more fun. Love to have different color variations in my paintings. Okay, so going back here and suggesting some stems of the flowers even. Just giving it a bit more direction, suggestion. And I should have let it dry and do the next layer there. But I'm on a timeline. When I do my preliminary sketches and work my versions and figure out what I want to use, I'm limit myself to 10-minute sketches, 10-minute drawings or sketches. It's not really drawings. It's practicing a scene and translating a scene. So I have a timer, and I'm going with that timer and see what I can come up with. This is another one of my favorite brushes. This is my rigger brush, and I love to add some branches that are overlapping a bit, creating more interest, more detail. And I'm playing around with this. Okay, so color was a bit collecting here in this valley, so I'm moving it around just to have a better foreground. Okay, so this needs to dry. I think I'm pretty good. I can lift, if I want to, I can lift a bit more light into my middle section here, but I have to be very careful, otherwise it looks kind of tacky with my lifting. And I want to have my flowers actually stand out. What else I could do to bring them out is I can add some white to it, but I don't want to do this in this particular painting here. So now we have light here. I'm adding a second layer of green in there because I love the edges that my brush does. Fairly dry brushing it on to give a bit more interest in this area. My details. And see what else I can do here. A bit more green. Have this follow. And here where it is white, the eye is drawn to, I'm gonna just fill in with a bit of blue to make it more fun and to fill in the white a bit more. But I'm adding some stems with it and suggesting some stems of the bushes in the back. And I want to see how that looks like. I think I like it. I think that was a pretty good idea to use that blue to make it more interesting here. And I can even, if I want to, work this out with it dark and suggesting some stems. So I have to be just careful because I don't want to smear them too much. Just on some areas. That's my rigger brush. I'm checking my value because when I have a 2-dog value on these stems for these bushes here, then these stems, they will take over, they will demand all the attention that we have, and that's not the point. So I'm softening a bit more because they are too dominant for me, for my liking. That's a personal preference. Hey, I can't talk anymore. Ha ha ha. All right. Yeah, I like it a little bit more softened. Whimsical, okay. Okay. And when this tree here is getting a bit too light, I'm gonna darken this too a bit. So this gray is drying really light. I'm just adding a bit more oomph to it, and that's the technical term for our tonal value. And see when it dries where it takes me. I can, if I want to, create more texture in this tree. I mean, the paint is granulating on this paper already really nice. But if I want to, I can, just for fun, just for attention, put a little bit of salt in there. Just a few kernels, and see how the kernel, they soak the paint up already. I have to watch when it's dry. Now, if that is dark enough already. And I think my front is not dark enough yet, because I want to add a bit more darks. I want the attention to the background, so I'm adding a bit more darks in here. Dry brushing. Just some textures there. I'm playing with these darks here and making branches. Okay, I think we're getting there. We're having 3 nice different depths, and I'm gonna do a little bit of fun stuff too still. Put a little bit of yellow in there just for fun. I like my spatter as an artistic statement. Okay, and I think I can do this on a big scale painting, big paper. Let me see if I can. So then I usually, when I'm done, putting down a mat and see where my sweet spot is of the painting. I think I like this pretty good. And even have the 2 trees in there, or the 3 trees. And I think I'm ready to call this sketch done. I want to show you a previous sketch. So I used a little bit of different color combination, and I arranged the trees a little bit different. Just wanted to see you where it takes me. I wanted to show you. This one was my first one I did, and I think it is way too dark. It's personal preference, but for me, when I squeeze my eyes, I can see the values the way I want to. And then I painted this one, and yeah, I like the light in the background, and I like the trees looking into it, and I have different values, the darkest in the front, and then getting lighter with my trees the further I go in the back. And all these kind of things I'm going through with my students in my network to help everybody to be self-efficient with their paintings and to get to eye-pleasing compositions and apply the artistic rules to paint nicer paintings. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Diana Kra. I put a link of my network in the description, but feel free to message me, find me on Facebook or Google me, and shoot me a message if you have questions. I'm always happy to chat about watercolors. See you in the next video.